Welcome back to Christmas Cupid. Once again, my name is Amy.
And this is Shane.
And we are happy to have a surprise guest with us that is home for the holidays. Did you get that? Home for the holidays. Introduce yourself, please.
Hi, I'm Olivia.
This is Olivia, our college student who is home with us for the holidays, and we're so happy that she's here to join us and has agreed to chime in on this podcast with us today.
Give a proper perspective. How old are you?
I'm 18.
It matters because if you're watching these movies and you're like, you're not, if somebody hears this.
And you're not a 60-year-old woman living alone at home. I am an 18-year-old that willingly watched these movies.
Yes, you were not held back against your consent, so I will say that.
So what are we watching, or what did we watch that we're talking about today?
Okay, so we are talking about one of my favorites, A Shoe Addict's Christmas, 2018 Hallmark movie starring Candace Cameron Bure as Noelle, Luke Macfarlane as Jake, and Jean Smart, who I love, as Charlie.
Designing Women.
Right? Yes, yep. Yes. Oh, she's still
With Delta,
so good.
Delta Burke and...
Here we go.
What are we talking about?
It's before your time, honey.
Jean Smart,
okay.
Delta Burke, and
he doesn't know the other one, so he goes on this trail again.
No, the gruff angry.
Yes, I have no idea, honey. I'm sorry.
Gruff angry one. That's good.
Gruff angry one.
So,
what's today's about? What do we got?
Okay, so like I said, Candace Cameron Bure plays Noelle, and she's at a crossroads in her life.
You don't have to read that exactly like that.
Candace Cameron Bure stars in his own.
That was my own. That was my own interpretation so
I'm
far.
so sorry. Go ahead.
Dealing with a professional.
At a crossroads in her life, when it comes to her father, her career, and she works as an HR employee in a retail store, and is visited one night when she gets locked in the store during a blizzard. She was given a task to go down to the employee records, the old employee records, to find a lady who the owner of the store was acquainted with, and so her son had asked Noelle to please go down and find some information. He wants to surprise his mom at the Christmas gala. And so she goes down there. Unbeknownst to her, they close the store due to a blizzard. And she walks up to find that she is locked in the store and has no way of getting out. So she makes contact with the owner, and he's going to do everything that he can to get her out, but, says make yourself comfortable. So with that, she does make herself comfortable.
She does. She starts putting on... She does that like the Career Opportunities movie where she gets to stay in the store overnight and she starts putting clothes on. And
she puts some fancy Crocs on and a robe.
A robe or whatever that she wanted. Yeah, a little thing. She opens up a camera and starts taking pictures because she's a photographer.
Do you remember that?
She takes pictures of random stuff all over the store. Yeah, exactly. She's like, let me grab this camera that's for sale and just take some pictures on it.
I mean, why wouldn't you, right? You have free reign.
Yeah, but I feel like you've got to work there tomorrow.
You have free reign until you come back to work the next day.
Well, as the night's going on, she hears a noise, and she is welcomed by Charlie, Jean Smart's character. And Charlie is what we come to realize is sort of like a guardian Christmas angel. And, Noelle thinks she's just this wacky old lady and is confused by what she's doing in the store. But she explains to her in kind of like this erratic way that she was meant to be there and that she's been watching Noelle for a while, and encourages Noelle to try on a pair of shoes.
Special.
Really pretty shoes, too. They're really nice shoes.
But they're better than that. They're time travel shoes.
Yeah.
And Noelle makes a comment that she had a pair of these shoes once before. And once she puts them on, she's transported to the past.
Yep.
And is scared, doesn't know what's going on. And so Charlie explains to her basically that, listen to how this plays out. She's back in her old apartment with her friend coming in, and this is a pivotal moment where the friend gives her the possibility to be connected with a photographer friend in a gala, a gallery. And Noelle in the past had said, no, I'm happy. I'm just going to stay where I'm at, you know. Oh, no, I take that back. I'm sorry. She asks her friend if she has a job at the retail store.
A little bit more of a customer service type job.
Right, and she says, just something temporary.
Right, not one of her dreams. That's the point.
And so Charlie, Jean Smart's character, says, see, this was the point in your life, right? Remember this, Olivia?
I remember it. I'm just
really
entranced by your recap.
That's what she did to me last time.
Really good.
Like,
no, it's
so
like your voice when you like speak like this is very like, oh, open up a storybook, sit down for a while, and I'm just really, I like forgot what I'm doing.
So, Jean Smart, Charlie says, this is the moment where you could have changed your life forever. Just say yes. And so,
yeah, she does.
Right.
You know what?
Call him. And then she gets zipped back to, she actually gets zipped forward to the future in that moment. Yeah. And is in a photo studio, which she realizes is her photo studio. And, you know, it looks glamorous, to be honest. She owns it. She's got a wedding ring on. She's, oh my goodness, am I married? Who am I married to? And then Jean Smart's like, whoa, kind of like slow it down, you know? You're getting ahead of yourself. You're getting ahead of the job I'm supposed to do.
Are you going to take this opportunity to talk about how you mentioned you like every dress she wears?
This, let me tell you, this is the best Candace Cameron Bure has looked. Whoever was her stylist for this movie did fantastic.
Yeah, it's really good.
I mean, granted, Candace has to do some part in the fact that you can tell she must work out. You know, her shoulders and her arms are toned.
She looks really thin in this one. Not that she doesn't look thin in the other ones, but she wears dresses that are thin.
Well, yeah, they complement her really well. Yeah, like whoever styled her, like really knew how to style her.
Yes, and the shoes or the boots that go with the outfit and the accessories, the jewelry, and this has to be her best hairstyle that I love on her in this movie.
Just like the short cut?
Yes.
To her shoulders?
Yes. I think that complements her face, her bone structure. And we have seen a lot of Candace Cameron Bure movies, have we not? So I'm telling you, I am very big on looking at the scenery, you know, and the clothes, and, you know, that's like my little thing that I like to watch these movies for too, you know, is to see who did their job good and all that. So back to the movie. That was just a little side note, but
we switch back to the department store now. She zips back away from talking about her married life, and she goes back to the department store.
And is welcomed by firemen and firewomen.
The guy that works at the store had said he was going to call to come and get her out.
Right. Yeah, so and she's...
because she met him earlier because he moved into her building.
That's right.
Good
that's
point.
Right.
So she's like, oh my gosh, you're a fireman too? And he's like, yeah.
He tripped over some stuff.
It was a very like quirky little meet cute thing that they had in their apartment building. But I completely forgot about that literally until I looked over and I saw his face. Yeah. I'm like, oh yeah, they did meet earlier.
So it's funny. I caught myself on these podcasts saying the word quirky a lot, and it felt I was annoyed at myself for saying.
Are you saying it unironically?
No. Huh?
You're saying it unironically?
Right. Yeah. I was just saying.
That's your problem.
She's really quirky because that's a hallmark of the characters in these movies.
You can stop.
And you just called one of them quirky, so it's not just me.
Well, that's okay.
That's how to describe it.
No, that's like the word that I feel like they were going for. When I'm sure in the script of this movie, at some point during that little meeting area, there was the word quirky. Like it's
supposed. You were a fancy director, neurotic.
Yeah, it's a little bit. Yeah. So Yeah, they did meet already, and then in the department store they meet again, and she's like, "Oh, you're a fireman?"
You're 2G or 3G.
Oh yeah, I think it's like 2G or something, because they're like.
And she's kind of rolling her eyes at him, right? Because she's Miss Business, kind of getting
Yeah.
things going, and he's a firefighter that's sort of a goober.
Well, so then we also find that after being saved, she, as the HR rep, is in charge of the Christmas gala, and in conjunction with the fire station, to raise money to help the fire station collaborate. And who do we have as the point of contact to the fire station? Oh, that would be the fireman, who is also the neighbor from upstairs. And
Jake.
fate would have it, they are to join forces and get this Christmas gala up and running. Now, she's a little bit more reserved in the gala, the props and what's going to be in it, and he wants it to be more quirky and fun.
A little more what you would think of fun. Yeah, they said that. A little more what you would think of a traditional Christmas. He wants colored lights, not fancy white, whatever. And it wouldn't matter what Noelle wants anyway, because the store owner, Helen, who's played by Maria Ricosa, says, no, you know how we do it here. We do classy. We don't do colored lights and snow and whatever.
And I mean, Noelle's not really like opposed to the idea of like color. Like when she goes into the props loft, she's like, I'm just doing what my boss is telling me to do, which I feel like is what everybody would do, but they're trying to like, he's the goofy, relatable one, and she's the quirky. He's the goofy, quirky one, and she's the all down to business, but she's really not.
Well, and then we also find out that Luke Macfarlane's character, Jake, is battling his own conflict with should he remain, on the streets as a fireman like his dad did, or should he take a desk job, which has more stability, I think, in long term. And so he's battling that. Noelle is battling, staying in a dead-end job. Like I said, her relationship with her father since her mom's passing has been a little rocky. And also she had just found out that her ex-boyfriend is now engaged. And here we are at the holidays, which always brings out a culmination of feelings. And so, Jean Smart, being the Christmas guardian angel, is trying to push them together in a way. And so she's questioning, is the wedding ring on my finger Jake, who I'm supposed to be with? And Jean Smart's like, I never said that. Hold on, So you kind of get the feeling that Noelle is kind of getting a little bit, I think, excited because she genuinely has found an interest in Jake. And so she's excited then to start putting on shoes because she wants to find out, where is this leading? What's happening? And she gets another pair of these awesome boots.
Oh yeah, they're really good shoes. But they go with everything.
Yes. And once again, she says that she had once a pair of these. She once had a pair of these shoes. Well, in this little it's more related to her dad and their relationship.
They don't have a belligerent relationship. It's just not close at all.
Yeah, no.
Right.
They're very sweet and loving. It's not like, some of these, the conflict is more mean-spirited. It's not at all.
And so it brings her to the store in the past where her dad had come to look for a gift for her aunt. And he, I guess, asked for her help. And she said, I can't, I'm busy, I've got to work. And that's when Jean Smart, Charlie, says, do that differently. And so...
Why didn't you go talk to him? He's your dad.
Right.
And she's like, he'll be fine.
And so she does. She then changes,
She doesn't at first. She takes off the shoes and she's like, no, I'm not gonna, this is ridiculous. Why am I going back and changing things? Our relationship is fine. Yeah, and then she does later.
Right. And so then that kind of heals that.
Yeah.
In that way. And, Jake is also starting to get little warm, fuzzy feels for Noelle and is inviting her to his fireman's party. And decorating the tree, and his friends at the fire station are making fun of him, um, and then we
Noelle's talking at work with her friend that really gives her a really nice gift with a camera lens that had to cost hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars. It's Lorna, played by Tanika Davis, and they're talking at the store, right? And they're like, yeah, Jake just wants to do this, and Jake just wants to do this, just like they would be talking about a guy she's interested in. And the boss overhears him and goes, Jake wants to do what? Do I need to have a conversation with the boss? And she goes, no, I've got it, right? But that becomes a conflict because she starts to wonder whether or not, Noelle can handle this. And does she need to step in and get rid of her counterpart at the fire station?
Right.
Yeah.
And so, Charlie does her little, angel pixie dust magic, and gets the little spark in Noelle to be a little bit more, I think, creative with her plans for the gala. Yeah. And they have a nice little interaction, and they make cookies together and kind of get a little bit more lovey-dovey. And
Charlie is she shows herself to Jake.
Well, yeah, she does, but it's under like the guise of like, absolutely, I'm just the chef here. You've never met me before.
At one point, though, don't you remember? It's really funny. He goes, hey, have I, like in the carriage scene or whatever, he goes, have I seen you before? And she's like, nope, I don't think so. No, it's the chef scene.
Yeah, it's the chef scene.
No, I don't think so.
So as we move on in the movie, we are then at the gala, and and she is given a dress by the owner that she had eyed in the store. That was
You're skipping a lot of
a whole lot
things. No, so they're at the like place or whatever, they have a little cookie scene or whatever, and then they go back and she decorates the tree in the fire station.
Well, I kind of said that.
You went all the way to the gala.
Yeah, but the big part that you skipped is the conflict.
Yeah, she decorates the tree at the fire station. They get to talking. She takes a few pictures of the fire station because she mentions... Oh, they're awful.
Terrible.
She keeps going on and on about how she's a photographer, and everybody keeps complimenting her like this is a normal thing. And I looked at those pictures, and they look like they're on in a Macy's catalog, and they're not good.
And we talked about this before in the where they take pictures of a pear farm or whatever, and it looks terrible. How hard would it have been to get some good photography pictures?
Yeah.
That's like cheap. You could have paid somebody on the set to do that. Nothing.
Okay, but I think you're really looking at like the little fine print.
You missed the detail. Okay, yeah, so they have the whole decorating thing. They get closer, but then the lady, her boss, is like, no, you need to take Jake off of this project. Yeah. He's making too many changes. What do you mean fake snow and everything?
She doesn't want to tell him, right? She is very much not wanting to tell him.
Yeah, so they have that whole conflict of, like, she doesn't want to tell him or anything, and then he comes by the store and is talking to Noelle, and the boss lady comes up or whatever and is like, yeah, I'm so sorry about that whole thing with the difference of opinion and having to take you off the project. Like, that, I'm sorry about that. And he's confused because he has no idea what she's talking about. And Noelle is like, I'm so sorry, I meant to tell you, like, it was just a clash of the different, like, themes for the party or whatever. Like, this is not, it's nothing, like, personal or whatever, and he's kind of disappointed because she didn't tell him.
So just before that, the only other thing, and I'm only bringing it up because it's going to matter at the end, the one thing that we didn't talk about was, there's a kind of a random scene, it almost looks like it was shot at a different time, where I think she goes back in the past or whatever, and it's a potential past, and Noelle's dad is there, and she's taking pictures of a guy we haven't seen up to this point, right? And the dad goes, hey, are you single or what? My daughter, is she trying to find her a boyfriend or whatever? And the guy's like, oh yeah, or whatever, and they kind of maybe talk for a couple of seconds, and this dude, you didn't even have any idea who it is.
Yeah, he just says that his name is Will.
Her speculation is the ring on my finger Jake? Is it Will? I think his name's Will.
Yeah, it's Will.
Is it Will? Is it Jake? Is it who who am I going to marry? And the more she gets in, falls for Jake, she doesn't want it to be Will. Right?
Yeah.
That's important. But yeah, then Olivia's right. Then they go to the thing and...
Yeah,
and,
that's the conflict.
And that's the conflict. Jake is like, why didn't you tell me? It's another one of those kind of dumb Hallmark things where it's like...
It's a very dumb Hallmark.
Obviously, she didn't want to hurt your feelings, dude. Like,
yeah, that's the reason, man.
Don't be a baby. Like, you can see why... I mean, I get it. She should have told you the truth or whatever, but just go, I get it. You didn't want to hurt my feelings. Sometimes they have to do these things so that they can jump to the conflict at the end. But yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so my little Christmas trickery worked. I jumped ahead and allowed you guys to fill in the gap. That was my plan all along.
Yep.
So here we are at the gala. She's wearing the beautiful dress that her boss gifted her for doing such a great job. She walks in. Her date is her father, and she sees Jake across the room. And her friend, is it her friend that gives her the gift in the bag? Or it's the store owner? How does she get that gift? The gift that we find out is shoes.
It's the shoes. I don't even know.
It's the store owner. It's mom, right? Gives her the box with the shoes.
No, isn't it?
Oh, yes, it's Charlie. Jean Smart. My
Charlie.
mistake. Yes. And she just casually puts it on the table, and Jake asks, "Can I have a dance? Can I have the dance?" And she gets on the dance floor, and her shoe heel breaks, and she's excited to think that there's a new pair of shoes in the box, so she puts them on, and she's transported to the future, where she then finds that it is Jake that walks through the door, and that's him who she ultimately marries. Now, also happening at that gala was for the fundraising for the fire department, were the pictures that were being auctioned off.
Terrible.
Well, they were
taken by a child. With a cell phone picture.
It's like the most inspiring photo of the year or whatever. And the entire movie, Noelle, her friend, was like, "You should enter it. You should enter it." And Jake, I think, once is even like, "You take great photographs," because he's a liar. Yeah. Because he just, gotta appeal to the.
Don't be knocking my favorite show.
Okay, your favorite.
But wait,
one of my favorites.
So the big conflict we talked about earlier, she got stuck in the bottom of the store looking for a file on
an employee file
that worked for the woman, and she took a picture that was probably the only picture that was really good in the movie. Turns out that woman that she was looking for was that picture.
Yeah, because she couldn't enter the photo because she doesn't know who's in the photo, so she can't put a little caption on it or whatever. But at the end, it turns out that Charlie or whatever put in for her by Christmas magic, put in the photos that she took or whatever, so it inspired her to do photography instead of her HR job.
Yes, so having put those shoes on now at the gala and finding out that Jake is her husband and that is her photography studio, she then announces that she is quitting her HR job and is going to open up her own photography studio.
Yeah.
And in response to that, the boss and his mother say that they would be very happy for her to have the next season's catalog pictures be taken exclusively by her, and she's ecstatic.
In true Hallmark fashion, she's not going to be okay. She's going to be rich.
Oh, and he also is like, you know what? I was thinking about that desk job opportunity too, and you know what's funny? The chief was like, "I'm gonna retire, so you can take my position and you get everything you've ever wanted."
Hey, look. This is why we sit down and watch the movies in the first place. It makes you feel good. It kind of secretly, you wish that you were there, you were them, that this was happening to you.
Well, I don't know about all of that, but you know what though? This movie has one big flaw, and it's the romance of this. I don't believe that those two are really in love. I mean, they're not. But there's no chemistry.
Well, there is one thing in the movie, and we're not going to spoil it because you have to watch it yourselves and then comment, is Jean Smart's character Charlie makes an analogy. Do you remember the analogy in the movie? Yep, we're not going to say it. We're not going to spoil it. And I found that to be very...
The story.
Yeah, that's part of what I've kind of already spoiled it a little bit, I think. I don't know if I said it in this one or one of our other podcast. Candace Cameron Bure. You love her, hate her. It doesn't make any difference. Again, we talked about this. Did we talk about this in this one?
No, the last one.
The last one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what she believes. I just want to watch Hallmark movies because they're entertaining. So
yes, but the story that's told.
Yeah, it's so that we're not going to spoil it. I won't spoil it because you made a point that you don't want to spoil it. But that is Candace Cameron Bure slowly putting her faith into movies a little bit.
But it's not overpowering. It goes very well with this theme of the movie, and I found it very charming.
I did too, but there's a difference between a story. Okay, when a girl from Brooklyn gets trapped in a snow globe, there's no angels. Okay, I don't even know that they said God once in snow globe.
Only for the love of God.
Yeah, when Tyler Hines is romancing with the Unexpected Christmas with the girl with the Bethany, whatever her name is, I don't know. Did they mention angels once? Like she slips in these. I think that's fine. It's very old-fashioned. I know she says that more traditional or whatever.
Yeah.
But it is very old-fashioned. But I don't have a problem with it. But once again, I don't care.
Right. It's
I
like
just want to feel good
it's
about
like her shtick, right? Like everybody's
yeah.
got like their
Her shtick is that she loves the Lord.
She thinks it's a little bit more than that. It's
That's
not
her
shtick.
quirk, if you will.
And I think that sometimes I gotta be careful how I say this. I think sometimes she doesn't think it's shtick. Her it's the schlop that we all love in these movies. So she's expounding something she doesn't think to be schlop, and we're all going, wait a minute, we watch these movies because people get trapped in snow globes.
Okay, but it's kind of like right, but it's kind of like what you have told me in the past about Tyler Hines.
No.
You say that Tyler Hines reminds you of what character? Who?
Nathan Fillion.
Yes,
Yeah,
and he comes across with that kind of like
a little cocky.
personality. It's kind of like
That's
that's
awesome.
his shtick. You know what I mean? Like
No. Hold on. Whoa. Tyler Hines coming across and being like a little cocky, like the way he holds himself, and Candace Cameron Bure making sure that angels or Jesus are mentioned in one of her specials. Not the same thing. I don't have a problem with it. I think it's great that she is, and there is an audience for that.
okay, well, I don't want to get too much involved in that because
I don't think the religion even has as much to do with
because
that story that you like so much. I just think that story is great.
yeah,
It is a good story.
it is.
A really sweet
And
story.
so
I've heard
we
it before.
challenge you, or at least I will challenge you to watch this because this is one of my favorites, and I look forward to watching
No
it
romance. That's fine.
It's
Oh.
good.
I'm sorry,
I
but
don't know if we're gonna have you back as a
you know what, Mom?
As a guest speaker.
Compared to Let It Snow and all like the
It's not
holiday
it's not
Christmas Under Wraps,
To me.
the romance, specifically the romance aspect, I like other parts of this movie a lot. I love her style. I love the story you were talking about. They have no
So
chemistry.
you don't think they have...
She has more chemistry with the man who's the son of the inn owners and the man who says that's Garland for you. So, I'm sorry,
So
there's
wait a minute.
nothing
So
there.
you think it's... The actors do a good job, they just don't have any chemistry.
They've got
with each
no...
other.
There,
Okay.
it seems very like a force, like, you only say that because you're a firefighter.
What,
And I'm like, oh.
what do you think about their chemistry, their actual chemistry? Yeah.
I don't see like lovey-dovey chemistry, but I see the potential.
Yeah, but like when you look at Let It Snow, when you look at Holiday and Handcuffs, when you look at those things, that's...
Okay,
more
that's like a
chemistry.
giddy little like love. Like
But you
know what I
believe
mean?
that they're in love. Like, the people there, they could have been brother and sister. And I would've
Okay,
been like,
you know
all
what?
right.
I'm gonna be honest. I just love watching
You
this
just love this movie
for
the style.
for the
and-
style,
Yeah,
the
that's-
shoes, and I think that Jean Smart does really well.
She does a
and she
really
is-
good
Yeah,
job.
she is so cute.
She's a good actress. I mean, I don't think she gets a lot of love, but she's a good actress. I agree with you. I think that but the chemistry, that I don't believe that there. Honestly, for a minute, I thought Luke Macfarlane's character was going to go for the Teddy or whatever the other girl.
Lorna?
Yeah, well, I thought it was
No, the other fire
the-
firewoman.
Oh.
I thought they were going to build a little triangle there till I saw other dudes show up. Whose name I can't remember.
Yeah, the other guy, and they were like, "Hey, you know those two side characters that are a male and a woman?
Well,
They're in love."
yeah, but for a minute I was like, oh, she's a firefighter, he's a firefighter. They have so much in common, and then she popped, and I'm like, Okay. I agree with you though. I think this is more about the atmosphere.
Yeah, well, it's more about the like discovering her like interests and reconnecting with her dad and everything than it really is about the love story, which works because the love story is not as good as the other parts.
True.
Well, they don't spend enough time together.
They really don't. And the time that they do, though, it's more about her being more like exploring her fun side and being more into photography.
But you're absolutely correct. They don't spend as much time with the love story because they spend more of that time on Jean Smart, where they should have been spending.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it all works out. I like it. I don't like it as much as you do. I like it.
I do like it a lot.
This is the second or third year. I don't know how it was. 2015, 16?
2018.
This is
18.
the second or third year we've watched it. I like it. I'll watch it again next year. I like it enough.
You like
but
it.
I don't. But I almost don't have to be paying attention.
Okay, that's fair. It's more a female movie, I think, maybe.
Okay.
All right. Well, so we'll challenge you as viewers or listeners to watch it and then comment below.
And thank you so much, Olivia, for being on it. And come back and do another one.
Yeah, maybe you'll
We're watching
guest
you and we'll do
appearance at
another one
another
before
one.
we go out to school.
Well,
Thanks, guys.
we'll see.
All right. Bye.